So we have here an NCAA women's basketball scores update. So we have here some games going on here in the world of women's college basketball, and some games have ended from the not huge amount. There's not like as many games on Wednesdays as there are on Thursdays, but there's still a good amount of games on Wednesdays, and we have some games here. We'll talk about them right now. The ones that have recently ended, we have or have ended. So Troy defeats Texas State 86-66. They are now a game back of Arkansas State, depending on what Arkansas State does. Did they come on in the final game for the Sun Belt on Friday night? St. Thomas of Minnesota defeats Roberts 79-76. Roberts got upset. They're one of the best mid-majors in the country on the women for women in women's basketball, and they're in the top 25 receiving votes in the mid-major poll, I would have to guess. And they did that 78-26. Was number 2 UCLA defeats Wisconsin 91-61. Number 10 TCU rolls over Houston 91-56. 89-70. Number 2 Ohio State over number 23 Michigan State. Number 18 West Virginia over Utah 75-46. That was a stunner how West Virginia rolled that much over Utah. Number 2 Oklahoma State 74-64 Cincinnati Duquesne. And then we had some I already mentioned though. Old Dominion defeated Coastal Carolina 81-65. 59-55 Longwood over Winthrop. Maryland Eastern Shore in the rescheduled game from Saturday the 22nd over North Carolina Central. They win that one 67-57. Richmond stays in top place in the Atlantic 10. Richmond is 16-1 in that 10. And they did already clinch first place in the Atlantic 10. But they're rolling in the Atlantic 10. Still rolling in the Atlantic 10. But then we have Chicago 52-50 over VCU. Villanova's rise over Butler 56-54. 73-65 Marshall over Louisiana Monroe. 55-48 Louisiana over South Alabama. South Alabama is one of those teams you're going to see on day one of the Sun Belt tournament, as there are 2-15 in the Sun Belt. 6-22 you're going to see in the bottom 4. That's not where you want to be, but Arkansas State survives over Southern Miss. Southern Miss made a good comeback. They were down 10 to start the fourth quarter, and they came back and won, or almost won, but Arkansas State just scored just enough, 1 point more to win. Georgia Southern had to make a bit of a comeback. They were down 5, and Georgia Southern wins by 2, 57-55, but now rolls over Loyola Marion 79-45, 59-55. Holy Cross survives over Colgate. Boston University. Except the third quarter, Boston University pretty much rolled. In this one, they were the more dominant team. 80-68, especially in that first half. UNC Asheville gets their first Big South Conference win. They started out. It was a tough game early. They had the lead in the second quarter. At the end of the second quarter, first half, it was 25-15. Then it was 25. Then it was 36-35, but lead for UNC Asheville. But then UNC Asheville had a 31-25 fourth quarter. Both teams really go on flaring in that fourth quarter. They figured each other out, and they did what worked. what each team couldn't defend. And it worked, pretty much. Got hot, both teams did. 67-60. Miami of Ohio defeats Eastern Michigan. Miami, Ohio had a 23-3 second quarter, but then had a 35-4 third quarter. Eastern Michigan did to make it a game. And then Miami, Ohio put it away in overtime, 82-72. In overtime, Ball State played it was a pretty even game between those two MAC teams, Ball State and Central Michigan. It was pretty even, but Ball State does get the win, 60-58. IU Indianapolis gets the win over Oakland, 80-65. Utah State gets the win, their third win of the season, and second in the Mountain West, 82-75. High Point remains in first place in the Big South. They get a 72-47 win over U.S. South Carolina Upstate as they end their regular season off. There's 9 teams in Big South, so each team gets 2 off games, either on a Wednesday or Thursday or Saturday, like Wednesday, Thursday, or Saturday. And so, High Point is top team in the Big South, and they're the number 1 seed in the Big South tournament. Radford gets the win over Gardner-Webb, 80-78, 72-51. Fordham over LaSalle. Dayton upsets St. Joseph's 74-65, 80-70. East Carolina over Florida. There's a 23-4 first score for East Carolina, and then a 23-13 third quarter for Florida. And the second half was 26-21 for the fourth. So, but East Carolina was, it did start putting their bench in, or start to play with their bench a little bit in the third. It seems like so. And then St. John's roll over Georgetown, especially in that second half. 37 in the third, 24-8 in the fourth to make it about 83-49. 79-66 Iowa over Michigan. James Madison had a slower start to this game, but they win it 87-84. So James Madison is number 1 in the Sun Belt. They're not going to have to play to the Sun Belt semifinals, which are played on the 8th, because the Sun Belt now is doing it where the bottom 4 teams play day 1, which is kind of interesting how they're doing the Sun Belt tournament now. Very interesting. Most teams don't do it, especially with that many teams. I know the OVC does it, West Coast Conference does it, but they don't have that many teams. But 14 teams. So as of right now, you have South Alabama play Marshall, and then Georgia Southern will play Southern Miss, and then Louisiana Monroe will play either Georgia Southern or Southern Miss. Texas State would play the winner of Marshall, South Alabama, because that's the higher seed. Because Marshall is the higher number over the higher number, and then Georgia Southern Miss is you get a lower matchup altitude. That's your upset, but even there's the lowest seed wins, which is like the which what I mean by lowest seed is like lowest number team. Like the first place team is the lowest seed. And then you have, and then you would have, then say Texas State Marshall. Okay, they would play in day 2. They get to buy the second round. Then if they won, Texas State, based off Louisiana. Excuse me, no, it's Louisiana Monroe and Texas State will get biased to the second round. Then Louisiana Monroe, if they were to win, say they would play App State, or actually no, my bad. Louisiana Monroe would play Georgia State. My bad. Georgia State and Louisiana Monroe would play in the third round. Georgia State would get the 2 days off. You don't play till Thursday. And then Texas State would play App State. And then in round 4 of the Sun Belt tournament, which wouldn't be till Friday, then Old Dominion would take on Georgia State or Louisiana Monroe. I'm not sure in the tiebreakers, but and Texas State Marshall, I'm not sure in the tiebreakers because who has the win, but you get the point though. I'm just going by what it says though. Then in the fourth round you'd have Old Dominion in Louisiana. Not until Friday play. And then you'd have Old Dominion play Georgia State in Louisiana play App State. That's if the better team in the standings won. The team that's higher in the standings won. Every matchup. And then you have in the quarterfinals, you will have, which will be on Saturday, Troy would get a bye all the way to Saturday quarters. Same with Coastal Carolina. And then Troy would have to play Louisiana. And then Coastal Carolina would have to play Old Dominion. And then James Madison, Arkansas State would get off until Sunday, which would be the 9th of March. So they would have 8 days off without playing a game because they play the last regular season games on the 28th. And then you'd get the 7th, and then the quarterfinalists would get 7 days off. The fourth round would get 6. Third round 5, the second round 4, and the first round would get 3 days off. But you have a quick turnaround, and the farther you go in the tournament, you're gonna have to win like 7 games in like 7 days. Which is just crazy. So. And I think they want the best teams to be in like the NCAA tournament. The NIT on the men's side, like the other postseason tournaments. Same with the women's tournaments. Yeah, with the NCAA women's basketball tournament. The WBIT, the WNIT. You want the teams, like the best team to be in the NCAA. It's like, each team, the best teams, they actually be a shot in the NCAA. Then their best team, and then like their, maybe their second best in the WBIT, maybe the third best in the WNIT, something like that, And they want their best teams like playing in like the tournaments. They don't want like, oh hey, like James Madison. Hey, James Madison lost their NCAAs. They got the bye. They did it where, like they did the quarters, the double bye. Top 4 got the double bye, and then 5 through 8 got the single bye, and then 9 through 14 ended up playing in the first round. No, actually 5 through 9 got the bye. No, actually, I think they. They did. Or 11 through 14 would play day 1. Then 5 through 10 got the bye to day 2, and then top 4 got the bye to quarters. As soon as you got the bye to quarters, you'd play. And they don't want James Madison, They want more of it, so James Madison, is fresher and stuff like that. And they have more of an easier chance to make it to the NCAA tournament. And they don't want to say, oh, James Madison, you lost. You're playing in the WBIT now. James Madison loses, yeah, James Madison loses, but they want to give them an easier opportunity for that. A chance for that to happen. You know what I mean? And then what they really want for guarantee is your top team to be in the NCAA tournament, James Madison, and the Arkansas State. It's not a guarantee for the WBIT, but the WNIT, they are a lock as the second seed. If second rep team in the standings, we'll get the WNIT bid, but Arkansas State could be a WBIT team, and then WNIT Troy. I could see Troy being the WNIT, maybe close to Carolina as well, but still, that's what they want. The top teams in the postseason tournaments, especially the top, like I'd say top 4 to be in those postseason tournaments. They just want like in order. You know what I mean? Not like a team in like a weaker tournament. You know what I mean? They want them to have more. You know what I mean? So. And then we have Navy over American University 860, 76-58. Kent State or Northern Illinois. Toledo now is in the MAC now with that one. Toledo with 3 games remaining, one on Saturday, and then Wednesday the 5th, and then Saturday the 8th. They are in second now against with the tie. They had the tiebreak over Buffalo. And then we have Bowling Green 91-61 over Ohio, 77-66 Western Michigan over Akron. And then we have 76-53 Marshall Youngstown State, 81-46 Cleveland State over Wright State. Cleveland State will get the bye to quarters. Cleveland State will. Cleveland State Vikings will. They will. Top 4 get a bye to quarters. And right now it's Cleveland State. It's going to be Cleveland State with the quarters, bye to quarters. We have, then they're locked in 3rd. Rob Morris is locked in the 4. And you have, and that's for the host. So Cleveland State is a host by. Then you have 3 first round games. So you have 5. No, you have 5. The Detroit Mercy. They'll play Northern Kentucky. They'll play Robert Morris. Actually, you can see right here. They play Northern Kentucky again. So they beat Northern Kentucky. Looks like Northern Kentucky, unless they win by 30 or 1. Robert or Mercy. Kentucky has it, unless they lose both of the games. North Kentucky does so. Anyways, the 4 seed, and the 3 seed and the 4 seed, they get, or the 5, I should say the 4 and the 5, they get byes to the quarters. But the 4 seed will host, the 5 seed will get a bye, but they won't host. Which I mean, it's kind of like awesome that you get by, but it kind of sucks that you don't get a host. And then 6 plays 11. So Northern Kentucky plays 11. 7 plays 10, and 8 plays 9 in the first round. And then in there it's at campus sites. So the higher seed hosts, so 6, 7, 8 hosts. And then top 4 hosts the quarters before they go to a neutral site in Indianapolis. Then we have 67-58 North Texas over Charlotte. And Tulsa knocks off South Florida at 66-58, like I said. So this is interesting. So North Texas. So UTSA is already not necessarily locked in to number one. So did they beat North Texas and South Florida? Maybe there. You know, UTSA, they lost to South Florida, but they beat North Texas. So all UTSA has to do is win on Saturday against FAU, and they are number one seed though. So, and then Rhode Island falls to St. Louis, 67-63. Then we have Washington. They defeat Minnesota 72-62. So in the Big Ten tournament now, we know Washington and Minnesota are gonna play each other in the Big Ten tournament, most likely. So that rematch will happen on the first day of the Big Ten tournament on Wednesday. The time though is to be determined, but I would assume though it will probably be the late game because that game is going to be the best. You know what I mean? It might not be like a bottom tier teams. You know, it could be blowouts. You know, also who knows? And then we have Colorado blowing out Arizona State 61-27, 40-28. UNLV over Boise State, and then 31-17 Colorado State over Nevada. And then we also have Wyoming. They defeat New Mexico. It's 59-40. So I was going to do some whip around, but since the Colorado's blown out Arizona State, and there's only two really competitive ones, and they're at halftime right now. So I will just show you. I'm just gonna not do it, but I will do some whip around tomorrow of some NCAA basketball. And we have some big games in the world of women's basketball. We have here Kids Day is a big game at Stonehill for Stonehill Fairleigh Dickinson. No, because Stonehill could it's not locked in the second seed in their conference tournament. So they have not locked in their second seeds, that 2 seed yet. So that's a big one. And we have Washington State near the top. That's a big one. It's the later one. And we have the ACC, the America East, with wrapping up their final games in the regular season. The America East has 2 more games on their slate. Conference slate. So we have the America East. We have the Big Ten having a few wrap-up games. And the Big Ten Network likes to showcase games from every team. Same with the ACC, probably SEC Note. And that Big Ten game. But yeah. And we have the SoCon. And there's SoCon, the Ohio Valley Conference, and the Ohio Valley Conference. So what's big is there's teams battling out for the last seed. Southeast Missouri State, SIU Edwardsville, Morehead State, Tennessee State. You already know who the top 5 is. Tennessee Tech, Lindenwood. You got Little Rock, Eastern Illinois, Southern Indiana, but you got UT Martin, Western Illinois. Top 7. But then you got Morehead, Tennessee Tech, Southeast Missouri State, SIU Edwardsville. And Morehead plays Tennessee State, and Southeast Missouri State plays SIU Edwardsville. So you have two of those teams are going to get win. One's going to go 5-14. Then you have a 2-way tie for 4-15. and one at 3 and 16. So that's interesting. Who's going to get the final spot, the 8 seed? But they got a daunting task, though. But then again, you'd rather play the 1 and then not even make it to the OVC tournament, though. And these teams know that, though. They'd rather make it, you know. And then we have the OVC. Has some big games. With the NEC. You have Little Rock Eastern Illinois. And you want to get that by the quarters. Because the top 4, Little Rock and Southern Indiana. They beat Southern Indiana twice, so Little Rock is in the 4, but Little Rock could lose. And if they lose one, depends on who Southern Indiana. Southern Indiana has UT Martin and Tennessee State, so 2 more winnable games. So Southern Indiana could clinch. The UT Martin one is going to be tough, though. So Little Rock could get the 5, though. And you'd have to play day 1 on Thursday. And you don't want to have to do that. And so then we have the Medtronic Athletic Conference. The ASUN playing the SEC, obviously the SEC, ACC. We have played, and then we have the Big East. We have a couple of featured games. The Big East Crane at UConn and CBS Sports Network. UConn, and then North Carolina at Duke on the ACC on ESPN. It's part of the ACC Women's Basketball featured games on Thursday night streaming. And yeah, we have some SWAC games, but I usually don't show SWACs or school websites you have to pay for them or stuff like that, and I'm not doing that. We have the SC games. We have like I said, the Missouri Valley, and we have Tennessee at Kentucky and this year. That's a big one. We have the Missouri Valley Conference playing some big games, some big time teams, especially for seeing like Missouri State and Murray State. It's a big game. We have, excuse me. We have the Horizon League. There's a few more Horizon League games left. A few teams that didn't play in the Horizon League that played today. There's some that play today and some that play tomorrow. And then we have the Conference USA. We have Conference USA, the WAC, the Southland. And then we have the Summit League. There's a Summit League game today. And then the rest of the Summit League games are tomorrow. And then we have the Big Sky. They are playing. And same with the West Coast Conference. And then we have the Big West as well. So I'm going to be able to do a lot of whip around tomorrow. As there's more games on tomorrow. A lot more games I can whip around. I want to watch my team. Let's go first. But other than that, we'll be able to do some whip around watch. I'll be able to do a good ball whip around. Take you through all the games in the world of women's college basketball. And I'll start off at the early games and show you some top teams, top matchups, like in conference play. You know, some like key matchups, like the OVC. That's the key matchups. I might show you a lot of the OVC because there are some big matchups for seeing purposes. And then we have, maybe top teams like the America East or the ASUN, or maybe a game in the Medtronic Athletic, or maybe the SoCon or something. I don't know for sure. Just bring in a random game maybe. But I'll work our way to the 6:30 Eastern games, the 7 Easterns, 7:30s, 8 Easterns, 8:30 Easterns. There's only one, but bring in that along with some 9 Eastern games, and then some 9:30 Eastern. Bring it along with the 10 Eastern game. Although I don't have the Eastern extras, so I have to show you the ESPN Plus ones because I have that. So 10 Eastern. So along with that 10 Eastern. So yeah, we'll just bring a bunch in games in. I just like to show. I can't show all of them, obviously. I mean, I could, but I don't have I'm not like ESPN or something where they had the buzzer beater on like Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and like Saturdays for men's basketball. And that was one thing. They were able to show you had tons of screens or tons of ways to get score updates and show big games, bring in some big games. So I wasn't able to do that, so I'm not able to. So I would just like to show the best teams in conference play or in or big matchups in terms of seeding purposes for conferences, especially right now, conference tournament time when there's two teams, there's 4 teams spelling out for one tournament spot in their conference tournament.